Hey everyone, it's TV dinner time. Kick your shoes off, get comfy. Today we're continuing our conversation about Presumed Innocent from 2024 to season one, and we're talking about episodes 3 and 4. Our previous episode was episodes 1 and 2, so we'll get into it.
Yeah, this is a show. I just want to start it off with Patty was right with the dudes or the murdered woman's child texting him at the end of episode 2, where it's like, "I saw you."
Oh no, I
there.
thought I told you that.
No, Patty
Yeah, don't try to give it to Patty. That's bull. I could have swore I was like, I think that may be the kid. I have to rewind the tape and figure it out. But
I know, right? Yeah, but yeah, I guess it's like. And episode 3 ends with a shocker of another child figuring out things and stuff. And so it's like, it kind of reminds you that like children are very curious and are very observant of things. And so they'll try to like figure things out.
Well, get into
whether
some
or not
shit
you want them.
Yeah.
But still, like, no matter what, I think everybody, like, knowing that, like, we were children before, we would go out of our way to figure out something, I guess. But it sucks that infidelity and murder is part of the story. But yeah,
like like the lady, the mistress, the lady that was murdered, her kid having photos makes sense. It's like, okay, my mom lives by herself. Why is someone at her house? Who is this person? Makes sense. Jake Gyllenhaal's son being there doesn't make sense. And like his mom, Jake Gyllenhaal's wife, saying or coming to the realization that they have a black child, that is what got me. Because like to look at that kid is just like, oh yeah, he can pass for whatever. But for her to say that, it's like, yeah, if he was actually somehow involved or had DNA in that house, he'd be screwed.
It was a very subtle way to like add in that, like, oh, it reminds you, like, oh shit, like the kid is black and everything, like you have a mixed race child.
I was like, oh snap, they are black. Like, oh shit.
Like, that's because like when Patty and I, when we watched episode 3, and we're like, oh crap, the child was there. So it's Jake Gyllenhaal's character's like son that is riding his bike across the street or around the neighborhood of like this like woman that gets killed and he's having an affair with. But I instantly was like, okay, he's just trying to figure out what his dad's doing because he probably knows his dad's a douchebag and stuff, or like trying to figure that out. But I didn't go. I was like, yeah, he's working late. He's looking at the milk woman and stuff. But I was like, you can't instantly think that he's a murder suspect. Like, yeah, his dad, you can say, because like his DNA is all over the place.
But the way this DA is flipping things,
yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it can go shocking where it's like, oh, now the son, we have to bring him in. Maybe it was both of them together.
Maybe they did this together.
But even though the DA in these 2 episodes is understanding that they're like, he has to keep a level head. He's the new DA, but he has to rein in the dude that is the lead prosecutor in this show, because it's like it's like almost like Jake Gyllenhaal's character had a conflict of interest in the very first episode because he's trying to like prosecute this, but also like, how do you get away with the fact that like, does this guy or this prosecutor hate the defendant? So like, how does that like weigh into it?
Because you see the anger and the animosity towards one another. Like, okay, I have the characters' names up.
Okay,
so Tommy
Rusty.
And Rusty.
Yeah.
We
have to get better at that.
I know the animosity that Tommy has towards Rusty, but even Tommy's interaction with Michael, who is Carolyn's son.
Yeah, there you go.
He was angry and like Tommy or Michael. What did Michael say? He said something about an interaction between a coworker and his mom, and you saw Tommy's emotions change from just like, okay, we're having a conversation to like, okay, who was it? Do you know anything about the person? Like, okay.
Yeah, and also Michael's understanding of like, yeah, your mom said that she had like a really like a negative like coworker and stuff, and was like being like weird to them. Like I was like, you can totally think Michael's that weird coworker because it's like
Tommy.
anybody can be named as that, or Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy. Okay, Tommy, the prosecutor that's like prosecuting this. That scene right there where Tommy is like interrogating basically Michael, the young child, and then the dad there, where the dad's like asking like, "Do I need a lawyer?"
Yeah.
It kind of almost reminds everybody like anytime you're answering questions, even if you're like positive that you're just being asked questions for like details, you should always have a lawyer there, I think.
Yeah.
It sucks because like lawyers are expensive and stuff, and like or like they gouge you for like every like minute that you have, but like that's basically an interrogation. And so
on a child.
Yeah, on a child. Granted, the dad's there, but the dad probably doesn't understand the whole situation too. And the dad technically lost his like former wife and everything. So,
but it's kind of like going back to what you were saying. It's like watching First 48 when there's a kid in a lot of this situations and a police officer that's an adult, and you see their interaction, and the kid is like mellow in the beginning, but then anxiety or whatever gets to them, and they may change their answer or change the way they're interacting with that person. So yeah, like you said, you definitely want someone that is versed at least to be around in a situation.
Or at
like
least
that.
has like a level head of like a cool head, but like, hey, no, don't answer that, or this is done. Chill. We're walking away.
Yeah, we're taking a recess.
Yeah, but it's very interesting to see that basically this story is like evolving. It's like almost like every episode you get more of the pieces,
you get more breadcrumbs.
Yeah. So the breadcrumbs, puzzle pieces to the grand story of what you're looking at, and it's also Jake Gyllenhaal's like portrayal of Rusty, because Rusty gives more when he's like pressured to give more, because like he's like, if I don't get asked this, and granted he's like he's a person that understands, if I don't give this evidence, it doesn't exist.
Like no one knows except for me.
I only say yes, that happened because you found out.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I have a cell phone? What do you mean I have a cell phone?
What are you talking
about? Oh, I didn't even realize it was in my pocket.
Yeah, it's like, man, and so there's like a lot going on. I definitely think that there's, to your point, the last recording that we did, that other lawyers in the office could be suspects of, because like granted, if what's her name, Carolyn, Carolyn had a negative kind of like relationship, or like not even to Rusty's character, but like if it's like general like overall around the office, then there's probably a lot more people that are possibly could be looked into this for
that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah,
like they may wait an episode or two, because it seems like every episode they add in a new character or more information, definitely more breadcrumbs and more information, but we still don't know.
Yeah. What'd you think about the ending of episode 4, where it's like that dude is like angered that like, you came to my house and you're trying to like tell me that like I murdered somebody or like had an involvement, and he like went to Rusty's house?
Yeah, he was doing too much though. Like, I understand. I've never, thank goodness, I've never been in that situation like that. But for him to find out where Rusty lives and bang on this man's door consistently, it's kind of like, okay, that's not the right way to handle it. Like, it could have been a knock, okay, open the door, and they figure out whatever they need to figure out away from the house. But the fact that he was banging on the door, Rusty's daughter is like freaking out, the wife's freaking out, like it's a high tension time in that household, and then this just added to it.
And then his like Rusty's response.
Rusty,
Patty, Pat. But I was like, man, like I think anybody, even if you're not violent, like I think the whole thing, Patty was like, oh, that's going to be a thing to show within court that he can be violent.
Yes,
and
for sure.
And then it's more so like the shock that the daughter and the wife had. I'm like, well, like he was reacting to your fear and trying to like protect the house and stuff.
Trying to
But
defuse it.
I get it. I get it on both ends too, and it's gonna suck because it's gonna come back to him, and he's gonna be like, "Yeah, this guy attacked an innocent person."
This person was only just banging on his door for 5 minutes. He shouldn't have done that,
right? Yeah,
he shouldn't have beat his face to a pulp. What do you mean?
It would be interesting if that dude, like, somehow is involved in something, and then how does that work in Rusty's defense, where it's like, "Hey, that was an actual criminal that came to my house and stuff," or like, because it's interesting to see his defense lawyers like kind of play in this.
I think you're right, though. I think this character, I don't have the character's name, but I think that character being sprinkled into the story means they have involvement in something. Maybe not exactly with this crime, but of something that occurred in that community. So that's going to come back and help Rusty somehow, some way.
Yeah, when I saw in like the what we like track TV shows with and everything in our phones, that there's already a second season kind of in play or like uploaded onto the tracking. So there's some database out there that shows the second season is there. Whether or not that's confirmed or not, I guess from the show, I was like, but that makes my mind go into like, hey, like could they like set up that there's like a serial killer? Like at the end, it wasn't Rusty. But Rusty had to play in like the infidelity and all that stuff. But there's an overarching that like there's like a group of like serial killers that kind of like meet up. I don't know. My mind was like going. They just like, all right, we're gonna who gets Carolyn and who gets this person next and stuff, which is like very gruesome to think about, but it would be interesting.
My question is, it kind of goes back to what we talked about last time too. Are you, because they have inklings of a second season, are you more interested in a continuation of this story? Like we figure out, hey, Rusty's not the killer, but they still need to find out who is? Or would you want to keep this self-contained? Like, okay, watch all 8 episodes. Rusty's not the killer. They find out who it is. So season 2 is about a totally different group of people.
I do like that idea because I think, granted, the way my mind went in terms of like, all right, if they're going to do a second season in the same story, like they have to kind of go out of their way to like make. So like it almost kind of gets like really outlandish and everything. Look at my mind. I created like a group of like serial killers that
are group chatting each other.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you got the next one. Like
using the infamous WhatsApp to figure out what's going on and stuff. But yeah, so it would be amazing if this is like and it's like maybe there is a trend to see that right now because like we saw it with Dr. Death, we're seeing it with Dr. Death, and there's some shows out there, that like American Horror Story, and so like there's like a lot of self-contained, and I think some people would like that because it's like it's also you're not coming into. What if someone misses the first season and then it's like, I have to watch the first season and then get into this one? It's like, no, there's a totally different story.
That's always the most daunting thing. Like when someone recommends a show, like, hey, you should check out Community. It's 6 seasons. Like, what? I gotta watch 6 seasons? Like, bro, tell me when it's season 2. I'll start season 1 and I can watch season 2. Not 6 seasons.
It's like it's worse when it's like an hour-long episodes for each of them, like The Walking Dead, where it's like, oh man, The Walking Dead is so cool. It's like, what do you mean? Like I have to watch like several months worth of like.
I gotta use how much of my time? To watch this show to catch up, to talk to you about it. Like,
I think it's nice. It's a nice idea. YouTube. It's definitely a nice idea to have a self-contained. Whether or not you have sprinklings of like the characters kind of going forward into the next season, that's a totally like maybe they're in the background or something, or like they're somehow knowledgeable of like Rusty as a prosecutor or something, or like someone's like reading the newspaper in like a totally different city, like in San Francisco, and they're like, oh man, this Rusty guy's in court for like possibly murdering his like co-lawyer and everything, and then like the story kind of just like drifts off to like their own story over there. It'd be kind of cool.
I think True Detective did a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Like real subtle though. I think because they have 4 seasons now. I think I want to say in season 3, they reference season 1. Season 1 is Matthew McConaughey and
Woody Harrelson,
Woody
right?
Harrelson, and then season 3 is
Mahershala?
Blade 2024. Yeah, Mahershala Ali and I forgot homeboy's name, but he's also a famous actor. I think they're reading a newspaper. Or there's some connection to season 1.
See, that's cool because it almost kind of drops like a little like breadcrumb. They're like, oh man, that's why I watched season 1.
That's why I watch all these hours of television.
Yeah, but then if someone's not in tune with it, it just goes over their head and they have no clue what the hell's going on.
Until they watch a recap online. They're like, oh, what?
Yeah. Or they go back to the first season and like, oh, that's why. Like, that's what's that.
That's
and so
the connection.
It creates those like spider webs of things. But yeah, it would be interesting just to have like its own self-contained, because I think if they can do it in the same pacing, like with the second season on a totally different story, like how it's like evolving, where you're like itching for the next episode is desirable, I think.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
I know, right? Do you see it kind of going at the same clip for the next 4 more episodes? 4. Right? We have like
we're halfway through.
Do you think that it's gonna sustain the energy, or is it gonna like taper off or something?
I hope it doesn't, but I'm thinking these next 2 are gonna be still give us more information on the story, but they're gonna be a little bit slower, and the last 2 are gonna pick up. And they're going to be crazy, crazy good.
Yeah, I can see that. Where like there are 2 episodes, like the next 2 episodes are like they still add that shock value at the end of the episode, but it's like more. I can see where like if they actually go into a courtroom, that's where it can kind of be a little slower.
And I'm thinking that's what they're going to do in these next 2, most likely episode 6.
Yeah. But I'm excited.
We'll see.
Yeah. So we'll watch the next 2 episodes. Episode 5 and 6?
5 and 6. Yep.
And then record again, and then watch the last 2 episodes, and then kind of get you for the ending. But yeah, let us know in the comments below if you've seen the first 4 episodes of Presumed Innocent. It's on Apple TV Plus. It's with Jake Gyllenhaal and some other people. The dude from Loot, as Kai said. but yeah, let us know in the comments below if you liked it, disliked it, and please like and subscribe to Saturday Night Popcorn for more TV dinners like these.